Okay, go.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Inostranki. Today we are going to be talking about how to make friends in Russia.
Specifically how to make friends like in a foreign country that you don't live in and speak the language. Well, we speak Russian, but like not your native language.
Right.
Because we both moved to Russia. I moved alone, and then Lane came and moved in with me. So it was a process. I got here and I realized, I don't know anybody. I knew one person, and that was it, which is not enough friends to have. So, how do you make friends in a new country?
So, honestly, number one thing is kind of shocking, and it's not for everyone, especially if you are in a relationship. It's called Tinder.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of it. But honestly, like, I've made way more friends off of Tinder than anything else. I think because Tinder's like a good way to show where you are geographically and to kind of see if you vibe with somebody before actually meeting them.
Correct.
And sometimes Tinder meetups are super weird and then you just make up an excuse and you leave. I had a guy who showed up to a Tinder meetup in a wife beater and a leather jacket, and it was an interesting time. So I was like, I want to go.
And I had a guy show up completely wasted.
Yeah,
And he was 6'5".
that's crazy. Yeah, but if like you and bring somebody with you to your
Right.
Tinder meetups, and there's lots of judgment around Tinder, I think, and there really shouldn't be because it's literally just a way to meet people. And the only thing about Tinder is that a lot of times people will say, I'm only looking for friends, and then they'll kind of want something
You just
more.
have to set boundaries.
Yes.
And make it explicit, and probably have to, like she says, use your better judgment.
Yeah.
And kind of feel out. But it's also, if you're trying to learn the Russian language, Tinder is a great way to practice learning languages.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to be in Russia to get matches all You can actually pay the couple extra dollars each month for Tinder Plus Gold, and then you can have an international pass to all different countries.
Yeah.
Including Russia.
I know, I didn't do that, but Lane, do you want to, because like, I literally moved here and I was like, oh shit.
I did it because I wanted to have friends ahead of time before I got here. I didn't want to come here and not have any friends. Like she said, a lot of people are looking for relationships though, because it is Tinder and it has a name for itself. But it can be what you make it.
Yeah, and I generally find that if you put like in your description, I'm only looking for friends, then the people that aren't interested in you are gonna swipe left anyways.
I have actually seen probably about 5 different Russian guys Tinder before, and they say yes to everyone.
Really?
I'm serious. I sat down at a table and they showed me how they Tinder, and their like finger is barely hovering, like they're ready for the next yes, and
That's funny.
swipe.
That might just be.
It could be them.
Your friend.
It's actually our friend.
Your friend. Was it?
We're not gonna say name.
Brings me to my next, the next way. I totally forgot the English word. I was like, the next spasop.
Yeah.
The next way that I made friends when I got here, and Lane, I was here for about 4 months when Lane wasn't here. And so I took it upon myself to go out and be outgoing and make friends. And one of those ways is Facebook or VK. VK, if you don't know, Kontakte is like Russian Facebook and is way more popular here. I actually think it's a better social media platform than Facebook is, but that's where all Russians will ask you for VK.
It's the Russian version of Facebook.
Yeah, basically. But I met some friends on Facebook because I needed help doing something. Like I needed help with opening a bank account. So I made a post on a Facebook group, said, can somebody come translate and help me open a bank account, because I want to be sure that I get all the numbers, that I get all the rules, and I could have done it by myself and it would have been okay, but I wanted somebody there to make sure. And so I said, I'll take you to lunch. And now I'm good friends with that girl who helped me. So Facebook is another way. There's lots of groups about like meetup groups, English speaking groups, like English clubs.
Right.
English clubs is a good way to make friends too.
My favorite is expats of
Yeah.
St. Petersburg. You have to ask permission to get into the group. You just message one of the admins and then tell them why you want to be in the group, and they'll say either yes or no. And almost all questions that I've ever had have been answered on
Yeah.
it, and like almost immediately. Not by Russians always, but also just by other expats.
Yeah. This one guy got really heated about eggnog on that group, though. Did I show you that?
Yeah, you should.
He was so mad. Internations is another thing. Internations is a lot more like business student. I don't know. Do you have an Internations account?
I do not.
Yeah, Internations is like networking. It's like Facebook for adults that live in international. But Internations is cool because you can put like your common interests, and then it will suggest people to you who have common interests and who have like they're in the same area as you, and you can kind of talk to these people. There's Internations meetups. A lot of the girls that I've talked to in a Facebook group called Girls Love Travel, which I recommend if you're a girl.
I don't have one.
You don't have Girls Love Travel?
No.
Yeah, you do. You're in that group.
I am?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay. It shows me that you're in that group when I look at it. But I haven't had any success with it in St. Petersburg, but I know like in Australia and in London they have big chapters of that group. There's a ton of members. I'm gonna show it to you later.
Okay.
But that's another thing. Just like Facebook groups and Internations. Internations is a bit more business heavy, but you can meet people from there.
Not only just meeting people, but you can also get job offers
Yeah.
too as well.
Yeah, and Internations and Girls Love Travel have both been helpful when I've had, like, I got my card in America blocked because I tried to withdraw too much money, but then I tried to call my bank and I ran out of my phone plan, but I couldn't put more money on my phone because they blocked my card, so I couldn't withdraw any cash. And my Russian bank account didn't have enough money on it, and it was this whole thing. So I posted in Girls Love Travel at like a Wi-Fi cafe, and somebody actually like called my bank and they told me what to do for me.
That is so nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Well, there's specific groups that we have attended.
Yeah.
I don't know when you watch this if they'll still be around or evolve to something new, but we went to a couch, what was it called?
Couch surfing.
Couch
At a
surfing
very strange cafe.
called Africa.
Africa Cafe.
Maybe we'll attach pictures to the video. I took a few pictures. The people that worked there were very nice,
Yeah.
and it was reasonably priced. It was just kind of,
It was just strange decor.
It was strange decor, and it was far away from us.
Yeah.
And then there's also Mafia Club. Russians like the word mafia.
Oh my god. Russians love mafia.
Even the game, yeah, they don't really have, we can talk about crime in Russia another time, but they don't really have an Italian style mafia here. Anyways, I've never been to Mafia. Have you?
Yeah, I've been to Mafia Club. That's where I met Tioma.
Oh, okay.
I've been to Mafia Club. I went every other Sunday when I was still living in Pushkin. But basically, so there's a lot of clubs in St. Petersburg specifically, and I'm sure in Moscow, that are for foreigners, for Russians who are interested in meeting foreigners. Usually they happen in English, but I've met some people there who speak Russian. And
French, right?
Yeah, that's a different one that I'll talk about in a minute. But Mafia Club is just like a social club for foreigners. It's called International Party.
International party.
Yeah, and those usually happen at bars, usually in the evening on the weekends, and it's literally just a social space that you go and like meet friends, and that's where I've made most of my friends in Russia from events like this. There's also a ton of English clubs that you can go to, like English speaking clubs, and another event that I went to is an event for French speakers in St. Petersburg, and I've met probably my two best Russian female friends I met at that French speaking event on the first night. So that's a really good way to meet people. If you drink, then you know that you're gonna have some alcohol in you, so it's not gonna be super weird, and everybody else there feels weird too. Like, and once you break the ice, so to speak, it's everybody kind of realizes we're all here for the same reason. And I went to these French things like by myself, so people will come and talk to you. They'll ask you, what are you doing here? It's a really good way to meet people. And go to as many events as possible until you've kind of built a friend group. Another thing that's important is to keep inviting your friends to do stuff.
Be aggressive.
Yeah,
with
because
friendship.
what I've found is once I've hung out with somebody 3 or 4 times, they're like, okay, we're friends now. But if you hang out with somebody once and then you wait like a month to hang out with them again, it's not gonna happen. And I felt really drained the first couple months I was here because I'm such an introvert, but I was going out every weekend, both days, because I was trying to build a friend group. And now it's totally worth it. Now I have these relationships that we've had these experiences together, and we kind of have solidified our friendship. So it's gonna take work. It's gonna feel like work at the first few month or so.
And when you go to any kind of event where you're meeting new people, don't be afraid or nervous to ask for people's phone number.
Yeah.
You can contact them via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is free.
Telegram.
Telegram is owned by the same people that have started up VK to contact you. But more people use WhatsApp actually internationally. It's just a good base to jumpstart conversations. For example, we have a kind of an international group going on my phone, and it's very confusing at times, but it's also quite fun because we have people from, let's see, Morocco, Russia, Bolivia, Mexico, obviously America. Who knows who will be joining our group next, but keep in contact with them.
And it helps to kind of build the digital relationship too. I mean, it's 21st century. Lots of Russians will also want to talk to you exclusively on VK. So if you are in Russia, get a VK. You'll see lots of events happening on VK, lots of events on Facebook. And be aggressive with your friendships.
Also, another reason to get VK is because there's a lot of public Wi-Fi that's run by the city, and you need either a phone, a Russian phone, or a phone number, or a VK account to log in. So it's handy to have a VK account.
And okay, I want to say one more thing, which is if you're like a native English speaker and you hear somebody speaking English, do not be afraid to go up and talk to them. I have made a few friends that way actually, because I've been like, hey, where are you from? We both speak English, because it's nice to converse with somebody in your native language. For the first month or 2 I was here, I didn't speak to anybody except my roommate in English. And so when I went up to somebody and was like, I think he was British, and I was like, he moved back to wherever he came from, but I think he was British or Australian or something. He was not American, but we were both English native speakers, and we hung out all night. People are just gonna be glad to have somebody to talk to and have somebody to talk to in English specifically. Right. I am always overjoyed whenever somebody tries to speak to me in English, whether it's a Russian or a native speaker.
Sometimes you just get a little tired of speaking in another language.
Yeah, it really wears you out.
It can get exhausting. So when you make friends in other countries, they can show you places that you wouldn't necessarily know about by looking inside a travel guidebook or going online. And then on top of that, they're like your own personal little tour guides.
We had our friend Sergey helped us pay bills, which was great.
That's going to be another video.
Yeah, that was which we talked about a little bit. And then what did Andre helped us do something, right? No, he didn't.
No, Andre did not.
But like Misha helped me with the apartment,
and he took us to the first time we met Misha.
Yeah,
which is a cute Mikhail. Yeah, cute form. He took us to, what was it, Peter and Paul? He took us to Peter and
Paulo's Krepast. Peter
and Paul
Fortress.
Fortress, yeah, Fortress. And it was great. There was a Russian swimming in a Speedo.
Oh my god.
In the Neva River.
That.
And he was an old man, and it was freezing, and the Neva is not very clean, but it was so entertaining. There
It was great.
2 Russian guys playing acoustic on a guitar.
Yeah.
He then stopped at a bridge where there was a Pushkin monument, famous poet Pushkin, and started spouting out verses of Pushkin.
He was spitting verses.
He was spitting verses in English by memory because
it's Russian.
Because it's Russia, and also if you study Russian in the States, they make you learn by memory some Pushkin as well.
I never studied. I took like Russian language classes, but I never
it was
did
Russian
culture.
Oh, okay. Well, our Russian language classes, they actually make us memorize poems.
We had to memorize one poem, but it was a Chekhov poem, not Pushkin.
Chekhov. Just kidding. I like Chekhov. So anyways, we would have never been embarrassed by Misha spouting poetry at our faces loudly.
Yeah.
If we did not use Tinder.
Yeah.
So, and he how 2 years later now?
2 years.
2 years. Misha is still our sassy friend.
BFF.
Yeah, he's our BFF.
Yeah. So it's like use that internet. Use the web.
So those are our tips for today.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
Forgot to say, don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos. I think we're gonna make our first transportation video very soon.
That's
Which is gonna be
a literal endeavor.
Yeah. You can follow us on Instagram. I'll leave things down below. Lane, do you have any social media you want to plug?
I will eventually plug social media as well. In our first couple of videos, we're just going to shoot from our bedroom.
We just moved into this
We just
apartment.
moved in. We'll do a walkthrough of our apartment, what a Russian apartment looks like eventually.
You can see the empty flat tour on my other channel.
However,
which I'll link down below.
we are still unpacking and throwing away the babushkas, the grandma's stuff that was left in the flat before, like a toy lawnmower. So strange. So we will show you around the apartment, and then also we'll start filming outside as well.
Yeah, you can expect to see some like vloggy types here. I have 2 other channels, one in Russian and one in English. The English one is whatever I want to talk about at any time, and mostly vlogs. The Russian one is like this channel, but in Russian. And I'll link those down below.
Пока-пока.
All our friends.
Say пока. And second goodbye. Also, Russians love saying goodbye multiple times.
12 times.
Like 12 times. So, in the true Russian way, пока-пока.
Пока-пока.
Glug.
I think it's glow in Swedish,
Like,
which is a made-up language.
Swedish sounds like fairy tale business.
Yeah, we were on Google Translate and we were like, how do you say this word? And it was spelled like Skyna, and it was pronounced like Huna. And we were like, what? До свидания.
До свидания.